if you do not wish to be recorded. Today's workshop is called Day-to-Day Watercolor Journaling, and it will be led by Jennifer Galvin. Jennifer has 25 plus years of experience as an arts instructor, teaching all age and ability levels in painting, printmaking, and papermaking. Jennifer's pulp paintings have been shown regionally, nationally, and internationally, and have won several awards in juried exhibitions. Jennifer is currently a Virginia Commission for the Arts teaching artist on our roster, and she brings a plethora of experience and enthusiasm to all of her students. To learn more about Jennifer, please visit the presenter page at the midatlantictaretreat.com. Please welcome Jennifer Galvin.
Oh, thank you so much, Tracy. I am so excited and humbled to be here with you all today and just talking about some self-care and watercoloring daily to help you feel better about art and life in general. So I journal every day, or most days anyway. It helps me alleviate stress. Just simply watching the colors flow together, or ripping up the pages, or finding something lovely to paint helps me feel less stressed. Also, the being less stressed comes in with my art process. The journaling can help with the art process. So some days I'm a perfectionist and I have a terrible time starting sometimes. And so I just have like the fear of the white page. I don't know if you've heard of that, and for me, it's the fear of the mold because I'm a paper maker, but I do large pulp paintings. And the day-to-day journaling just gets me down here into my studio and creating without having to feel its product and anything. You know, it's just all about the process, all about feeling good in my journal. And also I do things called grumpy pages, where if it's a bad day, then you get to rip things up. So it just is a really good process for me to stay grounded in my artwork. The first thing we're going to talk about is color. And we have some slides about color and its different uses. I think can you see the slides or?
We are queuing those up right now.
Awesome. So I can start talking about the first one. It's just, we're going to talk about color and the importance of making a new color wheel every time you use new watercolors. I have several different watercolor kits, and I can put them over here so you guys can see them. And every time I get a new watercolor kit, I do a new color wheel just so that I know how they work together. Also, again, it just encourages another page in the journal. So to see how the colors go together. Also, I encourage you to mix your own colors, because even if there's an orange in your palette, if you use your red and yellow to make the orange, then you know your colors better. If we could have the next slide, it'll show the color wheel. And that's just one that in my journal. I've done so many of these with different groups, so I have lots of them, but I just like to encourage people to do them. The next slide is going to show what we're going to do in our first little session, and these are called color blends, and this is something that I like to do daily. It makes good backgrounds, and it just relaxes you and lets the color flow. This one was just with blues and purple and yellow, and you just let the water go down, and I'll show you how when we start the next one. There's a couple other of them in this slide group, so you can just see that they're always different. They don't really, you can keep going on the color blend slides. They don't have to, they don't ever really turn out the same, because it's just blending of the colors. It's all about the process and just relaxing into the color and letting everything be and not having to worry about the end result. So we are going to make some of these color blends. And I just want you to, as your, oh, sorry, I forgot about the color symbolism. This is really cool. So this is a Western color symbolism chart, and there's the link to it, but it tells you things like red means passion and energy and action and strength. Orange is enthusiasm, emotion, optimism, and youth. Blue, which is what I work in almost all the time, is trust and loyalty, responsibility, security. Sometimes it's peaceful. For me, it's peaceful and the ocean. So I love my blues and greens and the cool palette. But this is just an extra idea for you to go and see so that when you're using your colors, you can know about the emotions that are behind them. Oh, and this is a Western chart. There are also several different cultural charts because color in our country doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as color in another country, which is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but it's very interesting. So right now I am going to start making a color blend, and I would like you to do 3 of them. One needs to, you can do one on that goes on 2 sides of the page, and then one you'll want to do and leave the back blank because we'll be writing on the back of it. Does that make sense? Hopefully. All right. So I'm going to start, and you can go to my watercolor journal on my camera now if you want, and I'm going to start with some painting and just mixing colors. And I encourage you to do that too. And we're going to take about 7-8 minutes to create these colorful pages, and then you're going to go into a breakout room where you'll be able to discuss how just being able to play with color made you feel. Oh, one more thing. If you do the back-to-back pages, it really helps to put the wax paper behind your page that you're working on so that you don't get any of the color you don't want on another page on it. I'm going to start and do a cool color page where I'm just going to use my cool colors. You can also do warm color pages where you will then use the red, yellow, and oranges. Your cool colors are the blues and the turquoises and the greens, right? So I like to stick to one or the other, unless, I mean, sometimes I really want to get some cool jewel tones, the browns and things. And so if you mix all 3 colors, you're going to start getting those lovely browns too. So I usually start painting like this, and then once everything gets wet, you can add to it, and then you can pick it up and move it around, and it'll flow around, because that's the beauty of watercolor, right? And that's why for me they're never the same, because I'm always adding and then letting the watercolor just flow. So once I get it going like that, I can pick it up and let it flow down in different directions. And I still have some white space on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it a little bit more and add a little more pigment. Sometimes I like to take the darkest color that I've used and do a border on it. Another fun thing, but you have to be careful because sometimes, like right now, my computer will get messy, but you can do a little splatter painting on it too to just give it a little bit of a extra there. And I'm coloring in my white spaces again. And I just love watercolor because it just blends so well together. Okay. Jess, are people painting right now, or are we going to go to the painting for people now?
If people would like to paint right now, that's great.
Right, yeah, so I'm hoping that I have 8 minutes for you guys to make 3 pages.
Come on. All right.
And I'll make a few more too as we're going through this, so you can see. I think I'll do a warm color one on the next one. Oh, and I have a little bit of blue so on my brush, so you're going to get a little bit of blue in this one as well.
Jennifer, are you okay with me stopping the screen share so folks can see you work a little bit more clearly?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And
Find my watercolors, right?
so this is the warm color palette, but I had a little blue on my brush, so I'm getting a little bit of purple hues on this one, and kind of fun. I realized recently that I tend so much toward the blues. There was a show called The Red Show, and I found out that I had a pigment that I completely didn't even know about that was red ochre, because I had never used it. It's fun. I'm gonna do a little more yellow. And then you can pick it up, move it around. like to watch something like that and just, to me, it's just so cool. It kind of reminds me of sunset in this one, and you can use them for backgrounds like that. If you need a background for a sunset, you can paint mountains in there. There's just so many different things you can do with the watercolor, but again, it gets me down into my studio and gets me going. And you know, this takes all of about 2 minutes for each page, something like that. So you can really end up having a lot of these fun pages to do stuff with. And also, it just helps me to start my studio practice. If I know all I have to do for the day is sit down and make a watercolor page, I'm going to put a wax paper. Well, and the wax paper will give it a little texture, but I'm also okay with that. Let's see, I'll remember it has all the colors now. But knowing I just have to get down in my studio and play with watercolors, that'll get me into the place where I'm ready to go over and do something more, you know, where I might be thinking about a project and not knowing exactly what I want to do with it. And the watercolor can help me be motivated, and it can help me just when I'm stuck, not even having to worry, you know, I just get down here and paint and play with the colors, and then sometimes it inspires me to do different things, and sometimes it's just for the painting, you know, just kind of all the colors in this one. There's also a lot of different techniques you can use once you have these pages kind of for backgrounds. There, and I have my 3D done now. I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes, I think. Let's see what we're doing. To keep making pages. And once you finish, I don't know, Jess, should we have people like raise their hand if they've finished 3 pages so that
Sure, that sounds great.
we can know when to take them to? So if we get a majority of people done, then we can take them to the breakout room. So once you're done, then we're going to go to the breakout room, and I want you to talk about just how painting with all the colors and being able to let them flow and not having to worry about your process. So how it made you feel, and how you think you could add this to your day to maybe help keep stress away, or you know, how you could use it with your students as well would be another great topic.
This all looks incredible. Folks, whenever you're done, you can raise your actual hand to the camera, or you can use the reactions button at the bottom of your screen and raise your hand that way, whatever you prefer.
Thank you. I just love watercolor and the way it flows. Another one that I use sometimes is alcohol. Go into each other. Sometimes it's kind of a little like but for me, again, it's just relaxing to watch the color move and not have to have any conceived idea of what I want to do, and being able to create art for the sake of creating, I think it's so stress relieving. And I think as professional artists, sometimes we use that because we think everything we make has to be for a purpose, and then it sometimes gets you stuck. So this is just a way for me to get stuck with the process. So we think most people are finishing up. I always underestimate the time it's going to take to get some of these things done.
So Jennifer, you're just at about 5:10, which is where you had ending for your breakout session.
Yeah, so we're a little bit behind, but I think we could still do the breakout session. I think we should just go ahead and start, and then hopefully people can keep painting while they're talking. If we get to the end and we don't get to the other technique parts, that's okay. We can list them in the chat, or that's a one where people can go and find. There's so many watercolor techniques that I couldn't even touch on them all.
All right, let's move to breakout rooms.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Jane. Do you need some assistance joining the breakout rooms?
Okay. So hi, everyone. I didn't find my watercolors. It's crazy. I couldn't find my set, so I had to use pastels. Oh, well. It still worked. Yeah. And I used masking tape on the edge to give it an edge. But the first one was, I put the tape right in the middle of the paper and then pulled it up. So it looks like 3 popsicles in a sunset or something weird. But anyway, I got the feeling. I've just been wanting to do that for a long time.
Cool, that looks great.
It's, and you can see me, if you saw me scrambling in 10 minutes, opening every closet, every box, going, what, where? I have several sets of watercolors. I said, okay, I'll try colored pencils that are watercolor pencils. Nope. I said, okay, pastels. That was that was the fastest scramble pastel I've ever done.
I had the same issue. I ended up using watercolor crayons,
There you go.
which is a whole different thing because then you're putting the water on and lifting the color off the page. So my thing ended up looking like,
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you using watercolor paper? It doesn't. It's
no,
hard-
well, it's an art journal, but it's also my journal.
Okay.
So it's like a sketchbook kind of journal.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I had a beautiful watercolor, one of those great, nice tablets, but you have to pry each page up. And I went, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Can't do it all. This was, oh man. And have you ever seen these? They're called pen, palette, pastel, palette knives.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
little sponges that fit on the ends. And you get this spongy thing, but you can actually get quite surgical if you want to get that detail. But I just went like this. And I love this. And then I use those cosmetic sponges. You can buy 8 of them for, I don't know, $2 at CVS. They're little tetrahedrons and they're white. And people use them for their face, but I use them for pastels.
That's so innovative. I love that. I'm gonna hop over to another room, but this was fantastic, ladies. Well done.
Thanks. Who's talking? Is
Oh,
that Jane?
I'm the tech and just the behind the scenes person. I'm taking little recordings of everyone's work. So I really lucked out with all that you guys have showed me. Well done.
Thank you. Are you fanning the air? Have you need coolness? Yes?
Oh,
Are you-
I'm fanning the page. I was playing around with, I usually use watercolor pencils.
Yes.
I took this as the opportunity to bust out the watercolor pad.
I love it. Oh my goodness. This is fantastic.
I like working with you because I work alone and I miss any kind of company of everything I do that's creative is solitary. You know, I write, I read, I study, I listen a lot, but I'm going, wait a minute, I've lost my tribe. I came onto this to be with my tribe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you found a good tribe here. Keep
Yes.
sharing, and I'm gonna go see what Jennifer's up to in room 3.
Oh, we can do that. We can do
Oh,
that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out. I'm room hopping to get recordings, but you guys stick in this room and just continue building your tribe out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can hear me. This is Brenda. I'm on the iPhone.
Do you work like when you're doing your quote unquote real work? Is it in watercolor as well, or are you working in the various media? Uh-oh, am I frozen or?
No, you're not frozen. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't see Jennifer's photo.
Okay.
I'll message her. and see
Dang.
what's going on?
Yeah, I think Jennifer is frozen right now.
Let me message.
Maybe the storm came.
Yeah,
Gosh,
who's worried about this?
we've all been dealing with this. I'm in New Jersey and we had a bad storm when we were going through things yesterday. So
Mhm.
how's all the sharing going otherwise, guys?
Pretty relaxed. We're just kind of brainstorming and
Nice.
associating.
Very nice.
We haven't had a storm here in Brooklyn, but I had a lot of internet problems the last couple of days. I don't know what it's from. It's been frustrating.
Where are you in Brooklyn?
Prospect Park South.
Oh, I have friends right in that area. It's so beautiful. Oh, nice. Very nice.
Cool. Yeah, it's one of those neighborhoods that like you say it and it's not sure if it will land because it's so small.
I spend a lot of time in Brooklyn, so I've gotten my bearings there. A lot of good friends out there, but yeah, Prospect Park South is lovely. I'm gonna
Awesome.
go see if we can resolve Jennifer's technical issues. I'm gonna hop into another room. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Okay. Are you both teaching artists?
Because it's and so I have them all on my chairs now, which are my dining room chairs, but that was actually a fun thing because that was my first scumbling
Huh,
job.
interesting.
And I like the word
Oh,
scumbling.
that's a great word.
So I'm wondering if we're supposed to leave the room. Jennifer, are we supposed to leave the room? Okay, she's frozen, I think.
I'm in the midst of a pretty major thunderstorm. I don't know if that's affecting things as well.
It's definitely, yeah, Jennifer had emailed me saying that that might be an issue. So we've definitely been in here for 5 minutes.
Okay, so we should leave.
Let's all get back and see if we can get Jennifer
Access.
sorted.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
My computer, I lost complete power. So it seems to be back now. The trees outside are going crazy. So hopefully I will keep power and we can keep going. Jess, would you want me to hook my phone up again, or would you rather I just showed things up on the screen, which would be easier?
Neither makes a difference for me, so whatever you prefer.
Okay, well, I don't want us to run out of time, so maybe I'll try to quickly do this, and if it doesn't do it, then I will. Can you see me again?
Yeah, we can still see you. Do you want me to launch into the next slides while you do this?
That would be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. And I see you've just entered the waiting room.
There we go. All right. So now just the trees, I can see that my window out, my studio window, the trees are just waving like crazy. So hopefully I won't lose you guys again. So Jess, are you still showing the slides?
I'm going to move over to the gratitude slides, correct?
Yep. So the gratitude pages. And while you're watching the slides, you can also start flipping through magazines and cutting out some of your words for your pages. These are just a few that I've made. So a gratitude page for me is a day where I'm just either I'm having a great day and I want to just show gratitude for it, or maybe it's not going so great. And sometimes just picking out things out of the magazine and painting the gratitude makes me feel better and makes me feel more grateful, because it helps me to remember the good things in my life, even on a day when I might be feeling down. So that's what a gratitude page is. This one, you can see it's got the background with the splatter, and then it's just you use your Mod Podge and put the magazine pieces that you've cut out in it. I found one for this one that says, "Nothing ever seems impossible in spring, you know," and it's a quote by L.M. Montgomery and of Ingleside. So, you know, just little pieces like that you can cut out. I think if we could advance the next slide, we can just show them kind of for a couple seconds each one, the different pages. This is another one. This one has a lot of overprinting on it also, which is another technique. And then the next one is, well, let's see. Oh, this one is, you can work back into them. This is working back into them with ink. So if you don't have pages cut out and you just want to use the your Sharpies, you can also draw in over the top of your, or a combination of both. And I think there's one more, is that right? So this one is a collage where I wrote in it a little bit and used the magazines, and I put the border around it. And also that's a handmade paper that's been ripped up and put in there to add some texture. So if you guys would like to, oh, see, it says take a few minutes to create a gratitude page and use one of your colorblind pages as a background. And we talked about already cutting out magazine words and putting them in, and you can add detail. You can just pick one of the three that you create. I'm gonna go with, I think, this first one because it'll be easiest. And again, the wax paper in between is good. So I would just take my brush and my Mod Podge and start adding in pictures to the page. And you can Mod Podge on the bottom and on the top of them. I have this one, it's a castle, which I thought was kind of cool. So I'm grateful for my house, so that can signify that. Or
Did we lose Jennifer?
She said in a breakout session, Casey, that there was a storm in her area. And so she was a little bit afraid that the internet was going to kick out. So that may have happened. She froze during our breakout too.
Mm. Casey, did you make art? Oh, hi.
Hi, no, I didn't. I actually am in my office and I don't have any materials with me.
I scrambled so fast I couldn't find my watercolors. I was embarrassed. So I finally used pastels.
Oh, good.
Want to see what happened? The first one was like this. I used, I wanted to try this. I put masking tape strips in the middle. Then I just brushed pastels with this little palette knife with a sponge at the end.
Ah,
No, can you see?
yeah, I can. Oh,
You
how
could probably
fun.
tear up the tape, but then I made just with the tape, really tried hard to make it pure. And it was just a rainbow sort of, but it's so gratifying to do a rainbow. It's like, right?
That's right. That's right.
You need a rainbow, have a piece, have a rainbow. That's my gratitude. Wasn't the rainbow gratefulness from Noah because the rain stopped?
That's
We're
right.
the storms happening in people's places today. I'm so grateful to be on this whole thing with all of you. So everyone's making art? Are these people all busy making art? Happening?
Yeah, I believe so. So while we're waiting for Jennifer to reconnect,
I
thank
am.
you so much for sharing, Linda. If you all want to just hold up what you're doing or talk amongst yourselves as you've been, that's completely okay. We're gonna find a solution to bring Jennifer back in as quickly as possible. So thank you so much for your patience, all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to share your, if you want to go around and share what you're all working on for your gratitude.
I can share mine, I think.
Let's see.
You
Cool.
can't read it. It says it's possible to fall in love.
Oh,
And then I said, with yourself, I
oh,
wrote, oh,
Oh, awesome.
men
I love it.
necessary.
I
It's
love it.
possible to fall in
Oh, I
love.
love that.
It all
It's a-
starts and ends there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Really.
it does, doesn't it?
Thank you. Thanks.
Anyone else want to step up and share?
Well, I don't have any magazines, so I'm just kind of furthering the design that I started.
Nice.
And then I'll come back in later. But I was saying in my breakout group that I am used to using watercolor pencils. So this is my first time using just the watercolor palette.
Yeah, I like it. It's like the ripples in a water in a river or something. Yours reminds me of water currents.
Excellent, thank you. I'll tell you, this is the first time where I've seen people's heads not on camera, and it gets me excited because I know they're working on something creative.
I know. It's
So
awesome. Yeah, to let go of all the words, right? All the words. I didn't want to put a word on my paper from the magazine.
yes.
I didn't want.
I don't
word.
have words either because I'm in a place where I don't have access to materials. And so I tried to rip something out of a little flyer and paste it on with water and it didn't work. So I came up with, I'm not sure if you can see this.
It's
There we go.
oh, oh, that's the light distance. Oh, cool. I kind of like
But
it.
I ended up, I'm not sure if you can see this at all. I just traced the shape of the thing that I had ripped out a couple times and started making a design with that. So sometimes the limitations can lead to creativity.
Yes, it did. It did. It did. I can see. I didn't see your name. I'm gonna go find you. Let's see. Oh, you are Christine.
Christine.
Should I show my rainbow again? I didn't want to do any words, so I didn't use watercolor. I couldn't find them, so I made. Let's see. I'm gonna put myself back on the screen. It's right. I put tape to make that nice clean line with masking tape, and then I just used the sponge and sponged on the pastel. And it's sort of a rainbow, right? It's gratitude.
So we're still trying to connect with Jennifer, and I guess I anticipate that there probably was a storm passing in her area. So Jess, if you could tee up her grumpy slides. And let's take a look at the grumpy slides that she had prepared for the presentation.
Wonderful, Anna. Thank you so much.
Okay, and I'll kind of walk through this.
So you know her talk. Okay, Casey, you know it.
I have talking points. So
you know her talk. Gathering, we're going to be doing expressions of our grumpiness next. maybe.
There you go. Awesome, thank you. I go ahead and advance. So I think she approached this in the same way, but also kind of really deconstructing maybe some of the pieces. Like she said that she took some of the handmade paper and then deconstructed it to be torn, and also with the handwritten elements as well. Go ahead, advance to the next one. I really appreciate, and so this one doesn't have any words on it, but yet I think it's a great juxtaposition of colors and just sort of like that contrast of moods.
It has a word at the bottom, pardon me, it says strong.
Thank you. I didn't see that. Thank you. Oh, actually, it's because I have the gallery view in the way. So there, thank you. And then the next slide. Yeah, just the simplicity of handwritten language on deconstructed artwork. So, so the next activity we're going to do, it's about 5:34. So we're going to still try to connect with her. Let's move on to the next exercise. Take one of your pieces, if you want to deconstruct it and see, working with, okay, so here we go. Take one of your color blended pages and write on the back of it with some conflict in your life or something that is making you grumpy, and then rip up the page. And then use some adhesive that you have accessible to create a collage of this. So you get to like physically rip up something. Let's go ahead. It's 5:35. Take about the next 5 minutes to work on this.
Okay, all. So we do have Jennifer back with us. She will be off screen because she's dialing in from very stormy weather, but she should be unmuting momentarily. So thank you so much for your patience. Okay, so Jennifer's going to
Hello,
try to dial in again. Oh,
can you hear me?
we can hear you. Amazing. All
Yes.
right.
Oh my gosh. I'm totally in the dark here, but I'm back. So hopefully you guys have gotten all your Mod Podging done and your gratitude ones done. And I'm going to pull up the slides. Did you do the breakout room yet or not?
We're actually, for the sake of
Can you hear
time,
me?
going to skip the breakout room just so we don't go over and you have the opportunity to still talk. We did do the grumpy pages.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if you had done it yet or not. So maybe if you could put the slides up. I'm going to try to pull the slides up on my computer here also. So if we could do the slides for the grumpy pages.
Okay, sure. I'll pull those right up.
And I'll pull them up. Okay, so are you on the one that says I am enough, that one? So the process of the grumpy pages is you take one of your backgrounds and then you take the other page that you painted another background on and left blank on the back, and you write anything in your life that's causing conflict and that is making you grumpy. And then you can kind of see at the bottom of the ripped up pages. So once you get done writing everything that's making you grumpy, you rip it up and you add it in as, sometimes I add it in as mountains, sometimes I just add them in and they end up looking, we can go to the next one if we'll show all of them. And I don't, that kind of, they end up kind of landscapey, I think. And then when you're done, after you glue in the things that made you grumpy, you write a positive thing. You can see on some of them I've written, I am courageous, I am strong. So then this helps me to kind of put that grumpiness behind me, and the conflict is sealed in there and it's made into beauty. So it again just gives me hope that all of those things I have gotten out of my system and I'm ready to create again. So hopefully you guys can take one of your backgrounds and write on the back of it, and then you can use another background and put the pieces in there. And I don't know if we could take like 2 or 3 minutes so people could get started with that. Would that be cool? Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you. Actually, I believe people have already made their grumpy pages. We
well, that's awesome. So then do we want to, So I'm glad that they did. That's awesome. And then do we want to do a breakout session where people can talk about them, or do you want to do other techniques?
I think for the sake of time, it might be good to move on to other techniques, if that's okay with you.
That will be great.
Thank you so much,
I'm going to open the
Jennifer.
slide. I'm going to open the slides now. So the first one is watercolor and line. So this is just talking about how you can use these pages to add in things to them. Like I said, sometimes I leave them just to color wash. Sometimes I add things. So the first one is just the leaves, and it's very simple with your fine line Sharpie. I just drew lines and leaves on it. The next one, this one, I had a lot of time. I love Zentangle, so I added in some Zentangle type designs over the top of my watercolor page. The next one is, again, just line. I was just free form. I drew the tree and then I'll drew the leaves on top of it and just added the lines in to add the accents. And the next one, waves are some of my very favorite things. So I drew the wave outline and then just echoed it along with the lines and then added in some words. The ocean brings me hope. So that was another page that I wanted to have in there. This is a salt technique. So when your page is wet, if you drop salt on it, the salt will soak up the paint wherever you put it. So if you look closely, you can see little places where the salt is and the cityscape. And then the paper, it's just black paper that was cut out to form a city. And I also do mountains sometimes. So the next slide is another salt watercolor one where I just drew in and then painted it all and then added the salt. And it made all of those cool little bubbly kind of things in the background where the salt just picked up that pigment. Another thing that I like to do is in the next slide, I sometimes plein air. This was a beach scene at Virginia Beach. I take my watercolors on vacation, so the day-to-day watercoloring can even travel with you. This is just an easy beach scene. Again, I just mostly like the color. I don't get too much into if it really looks like a beach scene or not. I just enjoy painting outside and letting the colors flow. This next one, though, is a little representational. I love lavender, and so I used my background, and then I just dotted the lavenders up and painted the lavender, and I think that that was a fun thing, too. It just adds to your journal, and there's so many different watercolor techniques that you can use. And the next one is also a watercolor nature, and it's just tree after tree after tree painted, and then that's just the watercolor blend in the bottom and sort of in the top. So you can see you can use these color blends in just so many different ways. And I'm so sorry that we've lost power here, but I hope that you keep your journal with you and your travel watercolors with you. That's what it's talking about in this next slide. Take time to watercolor every day and just breathe easy as you create for yourself. The pages are only for you, so don't ever judge them. Just paint and enjoy it. And if you have any questions for me, I don't know, Jessica, we put my email in the chat since I wasn't online too much, so if people have questions, they can email me.
Absolutely, I'll do that right now.
Perfect. So feel free to contact me with any watercoloring questions. I will love to talk with you more about that. I was so honored and grateful to be here, and I'm so sorry that we still have no power and lots of rain and terribleness outside, but I'm glad that I got to watercolor with you guys as much as I did, and I just appreciate you all coming and this whole conference and the support that VCA gives us as teaching artists. So thank you.
Well, Jennifer, thank you for your preparedness. Thank you for your flexibility. Thank you for sharing your creativity with us. You are just a class act, and it's always a pleasure to professionally work with you. And I'm so glad that everyone here had a chance to work with you today. Before we end, we'd love to take a minute to hear from you about how this workshop resonated with you. I think self-care was really something that the Mid-Atlantic team really wanted to make sure that we interjected into our sessions. And so I'm glad you all participated today with this, and that you'll have some more takeaways with you as you proceed in your creative journey. So our producer will now post a quick Zoom poll. And as you answer these questions, I will give our little closing spiel. The 2022 Mid-Atlantic Virtual Teaching Artist Retreat is a co-sponsored project of the Mid-Atlantic States Arts Agencies in partnership with the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. We are grateful for the generous support of all these collaborators and grateful for your participation today. We thank you and we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Hopefully our next Mid-Atlantic Teaching Artist Retreat might be in person. And don't forget to join us for our closing plenary, and also about, staying possibly, submitting your proposal for the Innovate and Create Award. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the closing plenary. Bye.
Bye.
Hi. Okay.
Thank you all so much. We'll be logging off now. You can join us for the closing plenary, as Casey said. Thank you.